So any cultivation whatsoever has to meet those conditions. So cultivate below 800 metres, manage critical source areas, so you can sometimes cultivate them if you're putting in pasture, but you still just have to be aware of the risk of sediment loss, and you can't cultivate the bed of a waterway. If you move down to grass and crop, you can see you cannot cultivate critical source areas, so the key there is how to identify a critical source area. So ask the farmer if it runs with water. For putting in crops specifically, no cultivation over 20 degrees, and then if it's 0 to 10 degrees slope adjacent to a waterway, it's a 5 metre buffer left in grass. If it's 10 to 20 degrees, then it's a 10 metre buffer, and that's adjacent slope. So sometimes you'll have a paddock that's flat for 50 to 100 metres and then a hill, so the adjacent slope is flat. It's only if the slope goes virtually to the waterway. To regrassing a buffer, you can see direct drill, oversow or spray, only permitted if paddock is in full pasture. So if you want to cultivate a buffer, the paddock needs to be in full pasture, and it can only be done once every 5 years. So most people probably aren't going to do that because it's inconvenient. The other option is to apply for resource consent. Grass to grass. Can cultivate critical source areas. 0 to 20 degrees slope is a 5 metre buffer, and once every 5 years. You still need to remain 5 metres away, and you can only do that once every 5 years. Otherwise, the buffer would potentially be 10 metres. Grass to grass, over 20 degrees slope. So this is where you have 3 options as a permitted pathway: direct drilling, hoof and tooth, or spray and pray. So with direct drilling, it's a 10 metre buffer. If it's the other 2 options, then it's a 20 metre buffer, and that's only permitted for pasture renewal or establishment. So that was an improvement. The previous version of the plan had any cultivation over 20 degrees required a resource consent. So this is a bit of a concession for the appeals process. Industry pushed hard to get a permitted pathway, and they were successful.